Three anti-war poems penned on the first Ash Wednesday of World War III. I'm old enough to remember two invasions of Iraq, 1991 and 2003, under two different Bushes. To be a true peacenik in America is for nobody to ever have your back. Peaceniks forever get called a coward, a traitor, a sissy, a punk. So when I dunk on this topic, let me be clear, this is not out of fear. I claim no moral position, not America number one, nor hippie with flowers in a gun. Not making memes of President Zelensky, not any of this is any fun. It's only been a week, but I have been floored by liberals cheering for war. First, we saw it on the cable news, commentators drooling like they drunk on booze. Come on, Biden, what you gonna do? Liberals cheering for war. Maybe liberals cheering for war never had the FBI come knocking on their door, don't have neighbors phoning them death threats for calling out local racists or January 6th attackers. Or, just regular Americans always bragging about every kind of weapon they own. Doomsday preppers, soldiers of fortune, trigger-happy cops. For every man is his own killing machine. Am I the only one triggered by people in this right-wing fever dream? I'm just one sleepless, woke hippie trying to stay on the beam of not drinking the cocktail of revenge, the way you post pictures of civilian soldiers then tell me you are not just another liberal cheering for war. Liberals cheering for war deny there were ever any racists in Ukraine. Okay, then we can also deny that the former president's boy ever did cocaine. But really, this poem has nothing to do with blame, yet rather questioning every aspect of this ratcheted up, delirious war game. Not cheering for war is also not cheering for Vladimir Putin. Some still remember Better Red Than Dead, or was it Dead Than Red? Reruns of The Day After Tomorrow dancing in your head. Some of us remember this tape from the 1980s. Nuclear bombs would send us all to Hades. But some of you thought the Cold War had faded until we woke up one February day to learn about tanks and troops, and again, those nukes and autocrats and heroes and kooks. High time, I remember how to pray. It's poem number one, anti-war poem for Ash Wednesday 2022. Poem number two. Remember how to read multiple sources, not just repost that silly picture of a shirtless dictator who likes to ride horses, not bragging that the one side of any conflict is automatically right, yet neither diminishing those who hide in a basement shelter night after night. Every human has blood that courses through their veins. Every parent of soldiers dead remembers their names. Listening to the protesters resisting arrest in the streets of Moscow and listening to a pacifist from Kyiv adding perspective on democracy now. Mandatory conscription for every man. Don't war. Somebody watching from home will figure out a way to tell you this was always part of God's plan. Understanding why some right-wingers who were cheering for Russia are suddenly silent. Scratching my head at the left-wingers who are tongue-tied to call out or condemn Russia. Everything in life is not a hot take on Twitter, and I know after COVID how much we'd like to sit at our screens and fritter. But maybe get up for a walk, call your mom, plan a night out dancing, even if you need to call a babysitter. Don't put words in my mouth. I am not about to, quote, blame NATO. But if sensible foreign policy wonks with decades of study are saying that expanding a military alliance in a time of peace has now brought the entire planet to its atomic knees, maybe we should pause before posting that romantic screed about a war for democracy itself. I know you've seen that in your feed. War profiteers and weapons manufacturers have something to do with how this thing magically went from 12 to 30. Look, we are talking about war. It is always dirty. If the Cold War was really over, why were countries joining in 1999 or 2004 or 2009 or 2017? And I bet you could not name them all. If it were a quiz, so you better get on Google to start looking. Everyone who left Russia is grateful for that flight that they were prescient in booking. See, people rarely want to ask why we even have armies, missiles, tanks, warships, military aircraft, rockets, bombs. Say out loud the part about the profits for Boeing, Raytheon, or Lockheed Martin. Who wants to ask why we even have war? A product where patriarchy meets anxiety in the marketplace of greed. Food and housing and clean air and fresh drinking water, even love and art and music. These are what we need. Why we really need countries with all these borders. What kind of scarcity brain leads to all these hoarders? Technology used to travel to distant planets or murder absolutely everything, even if that is not how you planned it. Don't get me started with all the end times branding. If there's an apocalypse fever, the churches, they have fanned it. 3. War. War is a special booze for little girls or boys to learn how to get high, first with sticks, then plastic guns, then video games. War is supposedly a selfless sacrifice to give your life meaning, like Jesus, but better. So when the entire globe is quickly careening past the climate change point of no return, and it is clear the billionaires never really gave a shit about ending poverty or pollution, admit that war is kind of a solution, a distraction of action from all the other inaction. Don't take too much from this poetic mess. I am just a mourning writer spitting this desperate plea, decidedly lost from membership in any faction. 3 poems penned on the first Ash Wednesday of World War III. I'm Andrew. Thank you for listening. Andrew Sunfrog, thank you for listening.